Hello, everybody. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. Welcome to the Weekly Collective. So good to see everybody. And, I was feeling today's topic selection far beyond like when I woke up and saw like over 50% of you voted for it. Lots and lots of messages coming through surrounding healing. That is the primary thing that's coming through today. The special topic is what you need to know but are afraid to ask. So for many of you, there may be some things surrounding healing or forgiveness and releasing the past. I'm just getting my side monitor set up here. So let's get into this today. Again, I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. Apollo's in the background, chilling out. He may need a walk at some point today. His tummy's been a little upset. So if that happens, please bear with me. But so far, so good. This is what we're going to do today. We're going to get started with channeled messages. And again, these channeled messages are already tuned into the special topic. And then we'll take a look at a 7-day forecast to help align us to possibilities for healing and release and all those good things. It's good to see all of you. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for your support. Thanks for working on yourself. That's what this is all about at the end of the day. All right, let's talk. So I was shown a very specific image in my dreams last night, which to me looked like a crack in the wall, but it could also be the foundation. And what I was shown was a fast forward or a time lapse where nothing was done. And then over the days, weeks, whatever that passed, the crack got worse until finally the wall caved in. So to me, this is a metaphor for preventative maintenance because I did see the crack, but for whatever reason in the narrative of the dream, nothing was done. So when it comes to automobiles, for instance, it might be time to look at things like the tires or the oil or whatever might kind of break down over time. You want to make sure that you take care of those things so bigger issues don't come up. Same thing if you're overdue, if the mechanic said, hey, you really need to replace this is the time to replace it. For those that are homeowners, you might want to be looking at the roofing. You also look at the walls, make sure the foundation is okay. And then when it comes to your own body and your own life, this is just going to your doctor's appointments as you should normally go, getting your teeth cleaned, going and getting a physical. All of those things where we're sometimes like, oh, I'll just put it off. It's important. We have to take care of that. Preventative maintenance across the board. And then I would even go a step further and say there are certain things where you're proactive, like once a year you change the batteries in the fire alarms because you don't want one to go bad and you're not trying to save money on that 9-volt. Just recycle it, get a new one. There are certain things where you're going to replace it ahead of time or you're going to do the maintenance. It was super clear for me. And again, I was shown cracks. Now, for some of you, this could also be like patching up a relationship, that there could be a crack in the foundation of the relationship. The sooner you can patch it up, the better. Again, because, it just tends to get deeper and wider over time if you don't deal with that. So that was an easy dream metaphor to make sense of. And I hope that, it kind of helps you out in this next week prioritize. Then I got a barrage of dreams, which I'm just going to summarize with these two cards because they're kind of the same thing. It's all falling under the same umbrella. So I saw certain people that were bullied in my dreams, just for any number of reasons. So that's not fun, whether it's because of, who you are, who you love, what you do, whatever. We need to get past that. So if you see anyone in your life this week who's a victim of bullying, or if you're bullied, this is a week to stand up if you're being bullied, or stand up for somebody if you see that. And kind of like the final bullet goes with this too. When that happens, you know that group isn't worth your time and energy. So it's time to step away from that clique or that environment. And I know it's not easy to be in that situation, in that energy. I've been bullied. I think almost everybody, unless you're really lucky, has had someone say something or do something in a pushy way, and it's not fun. So let's try to heal that this week, especially if we see others who are in that situation. Abandonment. And it's interesting. I think a lot of these things are coming up because of the holidays. We're in the throes of 4 or 5 holidays coming up, right? Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, New Year's, and many others. And so there's a lot of family gatherings. There's a lot of memories of the past. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good. But what we're going to do today, hopefully, is help you out and help you see the patterns And the Eight of Cups in this represents the pattern, and the actual pattern is the Five of Pentacles, which is that feeling of being left out in the cold, or having these struggles where you might be wondering, why am I not good enough? Why can't I measure up, or et cetera, et cetera. You can, you will, you are, but people around you sometimes don't have the lens of acceptance and of love or the imagination to see the potential. So I'm going to try to help you identify the triggers, give you some tools to deal with them, and more importantly, help you see what else is out there. So, the title, I kind of knew what I was getting into today. Some of this is going to be trickier than usual, but I always try to put a spin of empowerment on this, and that will stay the same today especially. All right, let's get started. We're going to begin with a 7-day forecast. This is going to help us identify the highlights and then the challenges in the week ahead. I'm going to use an animal deck for this one, since we have the raven coming through as our sort of, main energy today. Okay, let's get started. One thing that I think that last message is teaching us is to really focus on the here and the now. Yes, there may have been people in the past, there may even be people in the present that don't fully understand or support you, but you're in a safe space here, and you are empowered to basically take a different trajectory this week, and that's what we're going to look at. Okay, deep breath. I meant to start it off with that too. So I'd like everybody out there just to let go of what was. Let's focus, because I really want you to get tuned in. I was pulling all of these energies. It was almost too much mediumship this morning. So for my benefit and also for yours, just take a deep breath for a second. I know it. I feel it. It's all okay. You're validating your emotions. Let it out for a second. All right, now let's look at the 7 days. Because I can't read it until you kind of let go of some of that stuff. Today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Got 2 for Friday. Lo and behold, it's a pretty good week, folks. Next Saturday and Sunday. All right, let's roll up our sleeves. Let's get busy. Let's see what's going on here. All right, thank you for giving your sort of energy a chance to go away for a second, just be present here. The past is the past. We're going to focus on today. We've got the 3 of Wands, which is all about manifestation. And it's reminding you that when you're ready and willing to let it happen, things can happen in real time like that. You can actually start to see movement and change and a lot of sort of possibilities. Today is a great day to plan, but this card invites you to also go out and see the world. In the traditional 3 of Wands, we have a person standing at the top of a hill and their ships are coming in. So Spirit's already got our back with this first card, and it's saying today, by setting the intention that today and tomorrow are going to be better than the week, the month, the year behind us, we are kind of magnetically drawing in abundance, synchronicities, good news, good things. So I want you to be on the lookout for something good. One of my favorite mediums, Kim Russo, I think she said one time in a tweet something like, I can't wait for the good news today. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to see it. And it was kind of like setting it out there as an intention. I'm ready to receive. So be ready to receive. Today's a great day for getting work done. If you want to, get ahead of anything, whether it's cleaning the house or working on something for your career or personal improvement. Don't have to have pentacles for that. This is just a card of realizing dreams. So put those goals into motion today. It's a great day, folks. All right, let's take a look at the beginning of the week. We're going to start off with Monday. Also a very favorable card. We've got the 2 of Cups here. Good day to spend time with people that you love. Good time to meet new people. A great time for networking. A good time for healing some of those challenging relationships that might have been coming through that we were talking about in channeled messages. And it's a very receptive card. So this is not a day to stay inside, to hermit. And even if you are doing some of the virtual networking is also very advantageous, whether it's hopping on a FaceTime or Zoom with a friend or sending out a note or, even an application for something. You've got a good ability to kind of like energetically snag interest when it comes to that sort of stuff. So I like Monday. I have nothing negative to say. It's Two of Cups upright. Let's celebrate it. Let's have some fun. Let's get out there and meet some people. Okay? Good beginning to the week. Now we are fanning the flames of something passionate here. We have a different version of temperance here. I do like it. It's reminding us that we want to take our time rather when we're doing something new, but you want to continue to kind of fan the flame of whatever the passion is. This is interesting too, because we can also see sort of like tears coming from this crane or whatever, and then we see the fire here. So this is the transmutation opportunity. If there was someone in your past that said, you can't do this, Tuesday, I mean, let's face it, even today, because we've got good energy, but Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you have a chance to kind of pull it together in a different direction and say, not only can I, but I'm going to show you just how far I can go beyond your lack of vision on this. So you can use that energy as inspiration to disprove someone's lack of imagination. But this is a day to realize too, we talked about this. So someone asked me in the comments, like, why do we get strength twice in a row? I thought I talked about it in the video, but just in case I didn't, we have daily reads as well. So it's about really like releasing. Once you focus on an intention, you also need to let it go. And sometimes the strength card has a possessive energy. And so this card is also about kind of like letting it go, letting the emotions go, letting the anxiety, the passion, just kind of like you plant the seed of intention and then take a step at a time. Traditional temperance looks a lot different. It's an angel with 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And it's basically saying you don't have to do it all in one day. So I'm going to add that piece to it. If I can find the card quickly enough, I'll pull it up to the main camera here. We did it. Okay. Here's your traditional one. It's also about finding balance. Interesting that we have, the relationship energy coming through on Monday. You also may be trying to sort it out on Tuesday. Okay, how do I feel about that? Does this person make me feel better? Do I feel, it's basically sorting out your heart space a little bit as well. Okay, let's move on to the midweek. Now we have a day where you might actually have to sort of like stand up and ask for something here. The Son of Pentacles or the Knight of Pentacles, very much oriented to your resources, to your time, your energy, your money. In the reverse, it can actually say we're short in an area. A way to state this is, like I'm excited about this opportunity, but in order to make this work, I need this and this. Can I count on you? You can also state, and this is a good way of like kind of training people with what works well. You can say, I really like that you did this. Is this something you want to do more of or whatever? So positive reinforcement, letting people know where they're helping you, letting people know where there is a deficit in energy or support, and then also working on yourself. This is a great day to do anything necessary for self-care, making sure you get enough sleep, exercise, a great day to focus on physical and mental fitness. So, whether talking to a therapist or working out at the gym, there's a lot of different parts to our mind, body, and spirit. This is a day to prioritize that. Okay, now let's take a look at Thursday. It feels like you've got everything. This is like your wheels are aligned here, right? The chariot is kind of like a car metaphor, but it's also you. And I love that we're focusing on the horse and its direction. This is your day to figure out the direction, to reinforce the direction, to take the steering wheel if you need to. I had a daily card read earlier this week where I was feeling like the need to jump from the passenger seat into the driver's seat. So for some of you, that's worth re-mentioning here. It's your day to speak up. This is a nice card that isn't overly, what's the best word here? It doesn't come across as too strong. King of Wands, Queen of Wands, Emperor, Empress. They can be a lot sometimes, right? But the Chariot, not so much. The Chariot's about just getting to work, getting things done, setting things in motion. And you can do that without having to be bossy, and that's the magic of Thursday. It is about taking control of things, though, and if you don't like the direction, change it, okay? As we look at Friday, we had 2 cards stick together, so we're going to read the first one as what's obvious and then what's beneath the surface. So we have 2 of Swords in reverse here, and it's revelation energy. I kind of like the way that the artist here shows an eclipse. Sometimes we don't see something until it's gone, until it's missing. And so for some of you, that's what we're looking at, is that there could also be someone missing from your life, like they were supposed to show up and they just didn't. Very different interpretation of the 2 of Swords that I'm getting with this, but that's it. You needed to have something exit in order to see its value. And now you understand what you want or don't want. Sometimes you realize, I don't miss it. I remember a family member talking about taking a vacation once and not wanting to go back to their job afterwards because they didn't feel any, they didn't feel anything in their heart space. They're like, I don't want to go back. So sometimes it's that sort of thing where you just realize, okay, now I know what I want. And then you can take up one of those swords and use it as an ace and move in the right direction. Here's what's beneath the surface. So we have the Six of, I have to always look close on this one. This is the Six of Swords. I like this because it's showing after moving through a challenging situation, the rainbow comes through. My only thing on this deck is they should identify swords and wands. You have to look for the little hilt, whatever the thing is called, to see it. But anyway, this is Six of Swords. It's moving into something better. And sometimes, again, you have to, it's okay to move on. That's basically what we're seeing here. If you need to step away and get the perspective, go for it. So I think what can we do with Friday? I think it's a good day to take a break if you can. Not everybody can. But if you can take 5 minutes, if you can take the day off, if you can drive or go somewhere different and change up the environment, that is also going to help. It's a great day to release something. Six of Swords is good for that. Now, the Two of Swords in reverse is an inquisitive card. If you don't understand something, ask. And if someone's being ambiguous, check them on that and make sure that it's not intentional. Let's get into next weekend. Looking at next Saturday, we have the Six of Pentacles, slow, steady, sustainable growth. Reclaiming your balance. It's in the upright position. Saying no to unnecessary sort of like projects and obligations and invitations. 'Tis the season. We've got a lot of stuff going on right now. And so if there's one too many, work parties or social events, or even when we're looking at our expenditures, if you're thinking, I could really do this, but do I need to? So this is about just really weighing all the options, not going overboard. So weigh the options. And I would say for you also realize what you're most connected to, one upon it kind of invest the most in, because this card is also about making sure that you're saving enough for yourself. Ultimately, though, it's a pretty balanced card. Take care of yourself and trust in, that everything's kind of cosmically aligned here. Even if you don't have everything in front of you, this is showing things are growing in the right direction. Time to step out of your comfort zone when we look at next Sunday. So a week from today, we have the Fool in reverse. Take a step back, literally. For some of you, there could also be this feeling of fear in spreading your wings or trying something new. And you never know until you try, and this is an encouragement. If you've been hesitating on something, take a step back, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, if not now, then when? This might also be taking a step back from any of those sort of triggers that I was identifying in the myriad of dreams that came through. And again, there was a big energy around abandonment that came through, and bullying, and none of these things. There comes a point in your life where it's not your job to heal the person that's doing that. It's your job to heal yourself. And if these people or environments are exacerbating or making worse your ability to, or I should say impeding your ability to heal, it's okay to move on. And you don't have to connect with them if you don't want to. Main focus is on your personal healing. Get out and do something fun. The Fool card is just about seeing the world, exploring things, and not taking yourself too seriously as well. A sense of humor is being invited by this card as well. Okay? Beautiful energy, actually, for this week, despite what some of you may be kind of feeling. The Raven came through, and it's basically showing us the energy of opportunity, which is what I was hoping, but I can't control the cards. I am a medium and a reporter here, and so I'm always heartened when I can see the energy looking optimistic for the week ahead. All right, we're going to now move on. I'm going to keep this deck. I like the energy of it. And we're going to go and look at the elemental breakdown, which is fire, earth, air, and water, just to give us all a little bit more of a fine-tuned energy for this particular week. So let me shuffle the cards. We'll see what's going on here. Okay, fire, 2 for earth, we'll accept that, air, and water. All right, A lot of pentacles here towards the end. That's cool. Let's begin with fire signs. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Here's what's going on. Time to take action, time to speak up. It's the Ace of Swords, which is typically an opportunity card. When it's reversed, it's basically encouraging you to, if there's any sort of, this is the preventative maintenance thing for many of you, but if there's anything that you've been putting off, procrastination ends this week. If there's a question, ask. If there's something that you need to change, edit. Go ahead and do it right now. This is a great card for editing. And it's also saying, like, don't beat around the bush. If something needs to be said, this is a chance to express it. Hopefully using a little bit of empathy and using the right timing, but sometimes it just needs to be said. So that's pretty much it. It's action and communication and the encouragement or the permission, not that you need it from me, but it's the universe, the permission to change your mind or to communicate whatever it is that is on your mind this week. It's important to express yourself. I do like that it's an ace. Aces are opportunities. They only pay off if you take action on it, and that's why there's a big underline when we're talking about action in this moment in time. For some of you, even as I'm talking, I'm going to need a little drink here in a second. There may be a throat activation going on here, so one of the reasons it's good to get whatever's energetically in you out by communication is, if not, sometimes things will manifest in that, like you end up getting a sore throat or something. So speak your mind, speak your heart. And on that note, I'm going to take a drink and then we'll move on to the earth signs. I have to keep that behind me because otherwise it's going to spill. All right, we'll move on to earth. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, you got 2. We'll start off with the presenting energy of the sun. The sun card is reversed. So for many of you, power issues could be coming up. Solar plexus has to do with our sense of power. There could also be some issues with parental figures in your life where you might be cutting some cords or just finding the balance in that, realizing your own sort of autonomy and power and all of that. This is also a time to release and to birth things. Some of you may be pregnant. There might be some Sagittarius or Aquarius babies coming through here, but we definitely have that energy. And then figuratively speaking, I said this last week and I'll underline it again. We still have another week where a lot can get done. Don't sleep on December, folks. If there's something you want to do, you've got time. You can get a lot done until about the 20th. Then things start to wind down a bit, but we're looking at the next 7 days. So between now and the 17th, why not get some work done? Why not do something important and really end this year on a positive note? I know I've ramped up a little bit with multiple things. I have a project that I'm trying to get off and running so that January will be good. I've changed up some production style on some videos. I'm like, why not? It's December. It's still time. So take care of yourself, last and most importantly on this. All right, what's beneath it? We have the Queen of Cups. She's reversed. And the Queen of Cups in reverse is saying, again, kind of like, this is a chance to let go of the drama, like Mary J. Blige, no more drama. But we have to first process the emotions. So I'd love for you to figure out where the source, where the origin is, and allow yourself to really just release it so that you can focus on all of these very kind of like earth energies, even though this is fire here. But like when we're talking about project and power and work, I feel like all of these things sit well with Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So this is your block. It's emotions. And it sits pretty well with what I was picking up on earlier. So if it's fear, education, time, meditation can help you with it. If it's pain, you might need to talk to a therapist. If it's anything else, if it's curiosity, whatever it is, like I really want you to deal with the emotions this week. Let's not sweep it under the rug. Let's not let the crack in the foundation get bigger. Emotional and mental health is just as important as going to the gym. So whatever helps you out with that, please focus on that. And then ultimately, once you do that, heightened sensitivity, heightened creativity, maybe a chance to connect more with people that you love or to find new love. But the most important thing here is healing. And I don't know how well, it's because these are so unusual. This is mother and child, right? Because the sun is typically a baby riding on a horse, but you could replace that U with an O. It's like the sun, and this is the mother. So for many of you, it's parent and child. We can just kind of like take it a level up. So whatever you might be healing in that area, it came through loud and clear. All right, so now let's move on to Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, all of the all of the air signs. We just moved on from Earth. So with this one, let's see, we have the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So my air signs out there, this is a chance for you. It feels like there's guidance associated with this because look at all these beautiful angel wings around it. When it comes to how you want to invest your time and energy, this is what it's really about here. What is it you want to focus on? What is it that brings you the sense of value, of love, of joy? There's kind of like this reckoning or reconnecting to that. Generally speaking, this is saying slow down. With the card in reverse, you might be trying to fast forward through something, but it's saying slow down and pay attention to the details. Normally we have a garden snail on that particular card, and we have someone there that's just really not in a hurry. And just like a temperance card in reverse, you're going to get it done, but if you rush, you may have to go back and spend more time doing whatever it was you were trying to get done faster. So take your time this week. It's an auspicious card for money. It's an auspicious card for negotiations. So if you need more, ask for it. You have a really good chance to get what you need. And one of the things that we saw this week with, was it Wednesday, was a chance to communicate whatever's lacking in your life. Okay? One step away from something being done. So you will finish it this week if you continue to stay focused. And again, it's not about rushing. Cool. Let's move on from my air signs to water, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Feels like you're being pulled in a lot of directions. This is a really cool Four of Pentacles. Typically, the focus is on the person with the pentacle in front of their heart. This one, we can actually see the inadequacy of what's coming through. And what I mean by that is if someone tries to pay you with like what the Four of Pentacles signifies, it's not enough. And that I did pick up on in my dreams. I felt like someone was trying to... I saw like a lot of mouths that needed to be fed, and it was like, how am I going to figure this out? And so when it comes to like what we earn for a living, sometimes people that pay us don't realize all of the people that depend on us or how far a penny has to go, right? So it's important to communicate that or to find someone who values you. Now that I used a very easy example. This also works in a relationship. So if someone gives you Four of Pentacles energy in a relationship, they're holding back. It's actually like the reverse because they're keeping more for themselves than they're giving, or you may be wearing your heart on your sleeve, but they're not sharing anything. So there's something that needs to be evened out, and it starts with the communication of the lack. And then if the other person doesn't respond to that, or the environment doesn't respond to it, then you're going to find a place where you are valued. Because the one thing I can tell you incontrovertibly from Spirit is you're worth it. You deserve more. And this is a week to make sure that you get more. So some of this can also be about not accepting less than what you're worth. It can be making sure that you're not putting yourself in too many areas. So in a scheduling situation, Four of Pentacles is pulling yourself too thin and not giving yourself enough room to breathe, and maybe doing things where you're not getting enough of a return energetically. Okay, pretty powerful interpretation of this. Very different from what you normally would see. I like it. It's cool. That's why I like to read with different decks, because each time I see a different deck, it reminds me of a different facet of that energy. All right, water signs, you've got it this week, but stand up for yourself and push back if something doesn't supply what's necessary, right? Now we're going to get into our special topic today. Our friend the Raven coming through, helping us see things whether we want to or not. And in many cases, we're afraid to ask, but we're going to see it anyway. And because I speak from a place of empowerment, you're going to be fine, so don't worry. But this is really helping us clear out. I'm glad we're doing this in this, second week of December, because I don't want you to enter into January feeling like there is stuff that you're carrying with you. All right, while I decide which deck I want to choose for this, feel free to subscribe if you're brand new. That way you can comment and hit the like button if you haven't already. Let me go ahead. And if you'd like to give back, you can do that as well. It's optional, but that's how you can do it. All right, let me see what's calling to me. Could do light seers, perhaps. Pardon me, I just wanted to take a minute this morning to make sure I'm picking the right one. Yeah, okay. I feel like one of these two. I do actually have a Ravens deck, but I'm going to let the decks decide. It's a very energy thing to do. So I got 3 decks in front of me. We're going to look in real time and let Spirit decide which one. Light Seers because it's light and we're dealing with... I'm glad we're dealing with shadow energy today. It's important to do. Okay, 5 of Cups. That's going to be easy to beat, so let's see. I'm going to pick the highest card. Okay. An Ace is a better card, but it's not a higher card. It may end up being this Raven deck. All right, it's this one. This is appropriate. So there are Ravens on this deck. All right, let's begin. And I think we can leave the Strength card as the center one. That's great. By the way, common theme, third time I've pulled the Strength card in 3 days. So how about that? I like this deck. My only complaint is the Hermit card doesn't look like the Hermit, or one of them is a little off. I have to look at them. But anyway, let's focus. What do you need to see? What do you need to focus on? Okay. Okay, let's begin with the Catalyst card. Catalyst will help you focus on what's necessary. No surprise here. We have a couple cards coming through because we've had that happen a couple of times here. We're going to start with the first of the 2. Lady Nada, Expanded Heart. Openness, liberation, let yourself love and be loved. I think that is the hardest thing for many of us this particular week is I am worthy. We're often our worst critic, right? So you may look in the mirror and see any plethora of problems and someone else doesn't. They just see someone that they like and something amazing or whatever. But this is about taking a step back from the critical lens and just letting, if love comes your way, if opportunity comes your way, receive, be open, and free yourself from people, places, and things that don't supply love, support, or acceptance. Once you do that, we have the spiritual awakening coming through here. Interconnectedness, understanding your inner workings. And this is a chance for you to get a bigger view on the world, right? To see beyond the sort of doldrums, day-to-day stuff. All right, let's focus on the spread in front of us and hello, Strength. So I never thought I'd have to read Strength so much, but here it is again. We have a different interpretation with this card. So now we're seeing the fist, right? And someone kind of getting, it's showing like, because there's always a struggle with the Strength card. Sometimes it's a struggle to assert power. Sometimes it's to get someone to agree with you. Sometimes it's working on your own sort of, your own body, any number of things. We can see there, that's where it's going. Like, will you say what I want you to say? Will you do what I want you to do? This is a card that has some domination in it. It can be positive because when you get it, like I said 2 days ago, you have a good chance of getting what you want. But what I can't always wrap up nicely in 60 seconds is there's a flip side to this, which is, especially when it's reversed, is this sustainable? You've seen relationships with when this happens, where someone constantly has to sort of like get someone to do something. You said you were going to do this. Why didn't you do that? Or how about this? Or don't you agree with this? And it's constantly this tug of war. Yes, they get their way, but at what cost? And that is what this card is asking you. And so the new interpretation is just this person kind of ready to fight and then saying, is it worth it? Is it really worth this particular negotiation or this particular argument? And in the long run, as we're looking at a cyclical thing, is it worth it? Now, fatigue, exhaustion, and expenditures. We can now expand upon today's, very appropriate, and it's kind of like it boggles my mind. I'm using different decks, shuffling a lot. We keep getting strength. So let's deal with it today. There could be a better use of your time and energy in any number of things. It doesn't have to just be the relationship. And yes, the universe is asking you to prioritize your health because this is a health-related card and doing what's healthy for you, okay? You've got the power to make anything happen. Don't discount that. This is a very strong card, no pun intended, and it's showing you and it's reminding you of your strength. And you can even sort of like beat the most difficult obstacle in your way. But the goal, the hope, the dream today is to find a path that doesn't require you to have to struggle so much. And that's also maybe what some of you are starting to put out as a intention or kind of like manifestation for 2024. It doesn't need to be so hard, right? 10 of Wands, completion. So this is focusing almost exclusively on the crown chakra, this 10 of Wands, and we see it coming up from this stag here. So your thoughts, of course, they manifest, but this is really encouraging you to light up this crown. So I'd really like you to work on, we talked last week, I'll continue to do it until New Year's hits, but your goals and your resolutions, they start now. And the sooner you can get them blowing in the breeze, the sooner those seeds can take root. So there's a chance to do this. This is a very unburdened 10 of Wands. I'll be doing a lot of comparing and contrasting today because this deck is so unusual. I'm pretty fast at it, so don't worry. So the traditional one is showing burden. This one is showing strength, and it's growing out of the strength card. One of the things that you can do in 10 of Wands is let go of some things. You don't have to carry all of this anymore. These can each represent something, a lesson learned or a task on your to-do list or whatever. And there comes a point where it's like, I don't have to do all of this all the time anymore. And so this particular 10 of Wands is just embodying it rather than carrying it on their body. So there's a chance here to just know that you don't have to prove things to anyone. I think for some of you, I'm getting even for people that juggle a lot. Like, so let's say you're a working parent and you're trying to show up for the community, show up for your partner, show up at school, show up for your kids. It's kind of like there comes a point where on some days you're like, I have to show up for myself too. And I show up enough for everyone else that on the days that I can't do it all, that doesn't make me any less, right? And even when you're single, especially when you're single and there's nobody to help and you're trying to juggle all this stuff, it doesn't matter. But I just got that example in my head. So if you need to take a step back, you're still this. You always have the energy of this, but you don't have to feel like the person here. Delegate, say no, push back. You still have value. You don't have to do it all just because you can. You can't do it all every day. So some days you're going to have to take a step back. Karmically, we have the Knight of Wands here in the deep past. Wands are really good for imagination, thinking through things. And here we have a Knight of Wands where the ace is kind of floating in front of him. And it's saying, do you believe in what you're doing? Because knights are very active. So this is really a reality check for many of you in just trajectory. So I know I feel like everybody's gotten into this at one point, but you sign up for something. It can be a class, it could be a relationship, it could be anything that you want to do. You really get good at whatever that is. But at a certain point, it's sort of like, then you're just doing it. And it's like you're keeping up the momentum, but you forgot. This is about reconnecting with the passion. Passion, purpose, direction. Not just kind of like on a stationary bike or a Peloton nowadays or whatever. We want to actually see tangible movement and movement that's connecting you with the heart space. So just a reality check. Do you know why you're going where you're going? Have you taken a chance to kind of look at how far you've come? And do you still want to go there, wherever there is? The Knight of Wands is opening you up to new paths. So the good news is it feels like you've accomplished or checked off something from your list. You don't have to keep going in that direction if you don't want to. Nice segue into Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups in reverse. So in the reverse state, this is helping you. So progress made, passion, maybe not as much there anymore. So if you don't feel it, you don't have to do it anymore. That's one piece here. Also, much like we saw in the weekly spread, sorry as I tap the mic there, much as we saw in the weekly spread, there may be a need to just sort of let things go. Or I think it might have been the elemental where I had the Queen of Cups reverse. So now we're seeing it for everybody here. And it's saying don't move until you've dealt with the emotional components here. And we have really hit on those. And don't worry, if I don't see it, I'll pull an extra card here at the end because abandonment, that's probably going to be a reader's choice. I don't do it all that often, but I'm going to read for that if I don't naturally see it here. But that's one of the things, is the feelings of abandonment or the feelings of self-worth. So actually, we're going to deal with that right now. So we have Four of Pentacles, again, a very different version of Four of Pentacles. We have a lot of synchronicities, a lot of things coming through again and again. All right, so here we're just looking at the bottom of a kind of like, what do you call it? A bouquet of roses, right? We're just looking at the thorns. We're not seeing the blossoms. Kind of interesting. So for some of you, here we go with your traditional one. Thank you, Spirit, for helping me find all of these fast today. So the Four of Pentacles is saying you don't have to hold on to the pain anymore, because this represents pain, struggle, etc. There may have been a point in your life where you felt like it's again like no pain, no gain. And you know me, I'm like, no pain, no pain. You don't need to, it's one teacher, it's a decent teacher, it's not the best teacher, it's not the only one. And so you're releasing pain as a teacher. That's one of the opportunities that Spirit is coming through and telling you. And for some of you, it's also a check just to see if, and I know I was guilty of this at one point, but like, you would want people to see how late you were working or how hard you were working. And you're like, well, really, what is that proving? Except maybe that this is an inefficient workspace. So you don't have to prove it to anybody. And you struggling or you feeling that pain, it's not serving anything anymore. It's not serving your highest good. So if people only respect you because of that, and then it's also saying if there's something that, you know, you've learned and connected with enough and you're like, I just don't want to do it. It's okay. It's okay to not want to do something anymore. So all you have to do next is figure out what you do want to do and how you're going to get there. And accepting, it's kind of like the judgment card, right? Accepting that you feel a certain way is going to help you with the healing of the emotions, which comes through so strong today and woke me up, at 4 a.m. So I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on with all these people? So I want to help you through it. It's okay to feel it, but now what? What's next? Well, here's what's next, the Eight of Cups, and I featured that in the channel messages. What it means to me, it's like a myriad of different things, but as I've started to get older, it's getting perspective, getting distance. Now, there's a lot of other things that we want to talk about with this, but distance gives you that freedom to decide, and we just see the beautiful little feathers on this one. I'm going to pull up my card here because I had it earlier, and I don't have to go through the deck. So here's the other Eight of Cups. So when it comes to a difficult relationship, the Eight of Cups has a different meaning. It can be someone that tends to walk out when things get tough. It can also be something that you haven't dealt with and it's cycling back right now so that you can enter into the next year feeling really, really strong. I had the Four of Pentacles. We have the Five of Pentacles pretty close here. Same sort of energies. They're coming up again here. So I think everything that we just talked about is coming through. So you're in a period now where if you're dealing with the abandonment, one thing that you can rely on is yourself. And when you have that sense of grounding, I talked a little bit about that in the daily. Now we can go deeper today. Really grounding yourself in I can count on me. I value myself. I accept, love, and celebrate what I have to offer. You're amping up your self-worth. You're planting yourself tall in this moment. And then when people show up and they're less than, you're like, I would rather stand with myself than stand with someone that makes me feel less than myself, or stand with someone who somehow is kind of whittling away at the hard work that I've done. So this is encouraging you in this moment, if you need to cut some cords and be more clear. And then what you want to do in that situation is incontrovertibly, you have to sort of like state, we're done now, because the Eight of Cups is an open door. So if you don't want a second chance with someone, if you just need to focus on something else, then be clear. One silver lining, because the card came up in the upright position, is if there is a no, if you don't get something done this month, try it again in a couple weeks, try it again in a couple months. This means that the timing's not right yet, but you're going to cycle back and you'll have another chance. So it's second chances, open doors, cycles. Sometimes we need to break or end the cycles, but sometimes they work to our advantage. And that's what I got for that. All right, let's see how you're showing up, which is very much in alignment with this. Okay, so we have, with this special topic, Three of Cups in reverse. This is the bullying. This is the click that I was picking up on. All of us, I think I can speak for most of it. I think most humans on the planet want to feel a sense of belonging to a family, to a group of people, like friends, to a higher calling or purpose, like if you're of service. You want to fit in somewhere. The Three of Cups in reverse represents the antithesis of that. We can kind of see it here, even if I pull the illustration up right. We see these ravens or crows kind of clawing at each other and, whatever. So in the reverse state, it can be gossip, it can be bullying, it can be, I think click is a better word, but there's bullying with a click too, where they just laugh or whisper or do things that aren't so kind. It is a blessing to know that those people are not your spiritual tribe. Just, nod and move on. And it isn't fun, and it isn't necessarily worth the conflict. I saw a scene playing out in my dreams where someone was being bullied because of who they were dating. That's what it looked like in my dreams. And they were just trying to play it cool, but the people were persistent. There's a better word for that, but they relentless. And it was just like, I got the feeling when I woke up, I'm like, I just don't want to be around those people. And I thought, I don't know who those people are, but I don't want to be around them. And so I just want to convey that to you. They're not your friends. Whoever's doing that, they're not your friends. Now let's look at it from a completely different perspective. This is also a card. We'll look at a traditional illustration because it'll give you a different flavor. It's a chance to get out of your shell and to have some fun. We do have a lot of events coming up. You don't have to say yes to all of them. But when the Three of Cups shows up, you're going to have a chance of blending in better than you think at some of these events. This can just be like, ugh, I don't want to go. You end up going. You have a fabulous time. You're still tired. So this is the introverted extrovert, or the extroverted introvert. You know what I'm talking about. You like to keep to yourself, but when you have to, you can put on your Three of Cups hat. So say yes to some of these because you might meet someone. Some of you are fatigued with social engagements, and some of you are fatigued with dating. You want to meet the one. You want to just end all of this and settle down, and that's okay. But rushing it, pushing it, or fixating on the fatigue, that's not going to make it go away or happen any faster. So another message there for those of you that might be single and looking. Okay. Let's see. Environment. Five of Wands in reverse. I'll take it. The Five of Wands in the upright position is kind of like we see here, messy. So here we see a candle burning. The wax is everywhere. The fire is everywhere. Good metaphor for the Five of Wands, which tends to be overwork or inefficient work or unnecessary competition, or for many of you, it could just be a lack of direction. So what comes after the Five of Wands? Six of Wands, success. If you can get through this little challenging spell, then that knight riding in on the horse is waiting for you. But what happens with this, it's in the environment. So some of you work for a boss who likes this. They like to have people fighting and competing, and they're like, well, the cream will rise. Well, maybe. Or it'll just be a torch fire like we saw here. So I think sometimes this is poor leadership. Sometimes it's people not communicating, so they're duplicating efforts. So I think there's a chance for better community, better communication, better leadership. And if it's in your environment, you can either be an agent of change or try to help that, or again, it could be a chance for you to step away from it, right? So yeah, this is a little bit of a challenging situation for some of you. But let's look at what the hopes and fears and opportunities are, and then you can make a decision there. Environmentally, though, I see a little disorganization, a little bit of duplication of efforts, maybe a little bit of fatigue setting in. You don't need to do it anymore if you don't want to. But now so we have two very interesting cards here. So we're going to start with the first, which is the Ten of Swords. I like the way that they've indicated this. This reminds me of the Ghost of Christmas Future, since we're right in that season, which is death, basically. Something's coming to a close. And that's actually a really cool interpretation of the Ten of Swords. It is absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, a full stop, an end. Because in the card, you see someone like in a pool of blood with all the swords in their back. It's like, well, this is about as bad as it gets. But what's good with this is it helps you see, I really don't want that. So I feel some of you really know what it is that you don't want, because it could have been an argument. This can be argument. It can be physical, like a sort of chronic pain or fatigue. It can also be emotional pain or fatigue. But when it happens, you're like, whatever that is, I don't want that anymore. So here's your traditional illustration. They're always, a well-designed Ten of Swords should get your attention and make you do that. Because you're supposed to have a reaction here. So if you feel something, good. Like now you know what you don't want. What's beneath it is the opportunity, a chance to grow. So we see roses growing up a trellis here. This is good. I don't even need to compare it with the traditional one. The only thing missing here is the impatience. So in the traditional one, I'll play the role of the guy. He's sitting on the, like just sitting there, putting his hand on whatever it is, a shovel, and thinking, why isn't this growing faster? Because it takes time. So again, with patience, 7 and 9 of Pentacles, you just want to take your time. We see it worth all the while. We see it worth the experience that you've gone through. You're going to be okay. Here's what you want to avoid. I believe that this Ten of Swords is avoidable. This modifies this. So in the reverse state, this is representing, for some of you, overcommitting yourself, I should say, to too many things. So spending too much money, spending too much time, listening too much, whatever you're doing, it's too much. So taking a couple steps back is going to be advantageous, and simply saying no. Learning the lessons like we saw in the 7-day forecast or whatever of the Six of Pentacles is really, really key here. Okay. And if you do that, you can avoid the Ten of Swords. If not, fatigue or temper or something is going to set in and make you stop. So we want to avoid it if we can. All right. Now we have a Page of Pentacles here in the outcome. And look at how it's holding space, which was another message I had earlier this week in one of my channeled messages. For the daily reading. So we see all of this negative space or room to grow. And this page is just starting to see the fruits of their labor. So on the bright side this week, it feels like you're going to make some headway, but there is all of these cards of like, this is a little bit impatient. This is maybe not as, what's the best word, efficient as it needs to be. And I think if we can amp up the efficiency and just kind of have better limits, then you're going to be able to avoid fatigue, and then you can be patient. And I grow plants all the time on my porch. I have a bunch that are in the growing phase, begonias, a little dwarf amaryllis. I have some other things that are going into dormancy, and you are constantly sort of like waiting for some things to grow and then waiting for other things to come back to life because they're dormant. Like I have a plumeria that's shedding leaves, because we also have shorter days, even though our seasons are nice here. So there are seasons to your finances. There are seasons to your personal growth. And it's really about being patient with all those seasons. Here's a little dwarf amaryllis that I'm growing. So here, let's pull it this way so you can see it. So it takes some time. It's getting ready to bloom. That one I had to kind of bring back to life because it was in the dark for a little bit. So this is your chance to work your magic, but that took a couple weeks to get there. So give yourself time. It reminds me exactly of this, which is why I shared that. All right, let's go ahead and expand this forecast. Take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. I'm going to take a drink while I do that. focusing first on health, which is going to comprise your mind, body, and spirit. And this is a big thing that we need to focus on this week. Okay. Your health card is this. My aura is magnetic. 2 golden opportunities. So, fun fact, your aura changes colors. Those machines that take pictures of them, or anybody that's a medium and can see auras knows this, but your emotions can actually push out a different color in that. So if you get angry, it can go from your normal green or blue to red or orange. And if you're angry and meditate, maybe it goes back into a different color, or you can have multiple colors going through it, especially if you're healing or connected. So I want you to really focus on the power of your thoughts and your mood, because your mood is affecting everything around you. When I get uptight, he gets uptight because he's very sensitive to my moods. Even if I'm on the phone with someone and it's a difficult call, he'll start chewing apart a toy. He'll start going around. Like, he can pick up on it. Pets are a little bit more tuned in, children as well. As we start to get older, our third eye closes down a little bit and we don't see it or feel it as much unless we meditate. But in this moment in time, you have a chance to open up energetically and really focus on pushing out the clearest, cleanest intentions. Golden energy, which is really connecting you to source. So meditate. This is a card of meditation and self-care. And when you feel those energies like anger, frustration, jealousy, abandonment, all this stuff, then it's a chance for you to breathe, identify, center yourself, and think, what am I going to do about it? Rather than just sort of sitting in it for a long time and letting it stew. So you are more in control of your ability to kind of like stress is a reaction to stimuli and even emotions. So how are you going to channel and harness this is really the opportunity here. Okay, let's see what else is coming through. This is interesting that this 10 of Swords is featuring the hand. Some of you could have repetitive injury. So many of us now with our devices, iPad, iPhone, and keyboards. So there could be a need to just sort of be kinder to your hands. I am not a doctor, as I like to disclaim here. I did actually have an experience, though, with carpal tunnel, where I had 2 different of those, whatever they are, like braces. And I went to a massage therapist and chiropractor, and they said, it's not here, it's here that's causing this. And so they made some adjustments here, and then all of a sudden the pain went away here. It'd be really good to get this stuff checked out if you feel it. The body's all interconnected. That's why I'm looking at mind, body, and spirit. But some of you could be having some issues there. You could also have an activation of healing hands, because we're looking at that. But either way, there might need to be some healing with the hands. Let's see what else is coming through. 10 of Wands is your lower back and maybe even your neck. So when we were looking at the traditional 10 of Wands, it tells you why that happens. And it's basically because some of you might be carrying an emotional burden or like a physical burden if you work in a job where you have to basically lift heavy things. So be careful. This part of the back and even the upper neck could be going through some things. So we have some bone issues, some muscle issues that are popping up, some fatigue. No wonder strength came through. And I think some of you might be working extra hard maybe to get some time off or to get some extra money for the holidays. So just be kind to yourself, please. And when it comes to healing and recovery, it takes time. I've had broken bones before, and the swelling takes a long time to go down. So just give yourself time to heal. Your body's miraculous, but it's also, it's organic and it takes time. Let's see, emotional energy here as well. So I feel like it's a perfect time if you've never worked with a therapist. This is a good time for those of you that are interested. This is also, you can do like creative or artistic ventures, but body and emotions really coming through loud and clear here. Try not to overdo it during the celebrations. 3 of Cups is a fun card. Again, we usually see people partying on it, but they can also be having too much fun in this. So a little bit goes a long way, and that's what this card is reminding you as well. So when we have all the holiday celebrations, don't overeat, don't overdrink, don't overwork, don't over anything, and you'll be fine. And I think that's pretty much it. This card can also have to do with how much you're holding on to, like both Ten of Wands and Four of Pentacles, but holding it close to your heart, taking things personally. So one thing that I've had to learn, because I've been doing this for a while, actually, like we're in 2023. The channel started in 2013, but 2015 is when it really kind of kicked off. But we're around 9 years now that I've been doing this. I just don't, like, people always have things to say. Some people don't say nice things. So you just learn to take it with a grain of salt and figure, like, some people may be in a mood or be going through their own thing, and just, so you learn to not internalize things. So if there's someone that says something nasty or out of, like, just basically not tuned into where you're at right now, take a deep breath, step away, and just think, I'm not going to give them that energy or the pleasure of knowing that got under my skin. I'm going to move on to something else. Okay? And that's the last piece for health. Let's move on to wealth, resources, life purpose, and career. Okay, what do we have here? The student. Some of you are going back to school. In tarot, this would be like 8 of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles is usually higher education. 8 of Pentacles can be internship and other sort of levels of training. So you might be deciding to go back to school. You might also be deciding to teach, because this could go both ways. The card is reversed, so there could also be just a lesson that's difficult to let go of. There's something that's going on. You're like, I thought I learned my lesson, but I guess I haven't. If I look at this picture here, the interesting thing is the lantern behind her. So I really feel like you have done enough here to, because that's like the Hermit's lantern. So it feels like you've got this on some levels. It's just a matter of believing in yourself. So there comes a point where no amount of education or training or time is going to get you there. It just has to be in the heart and believing in yourself. Okay. All right. Let's take a look now at some challenges, some opportunities with wealth. We'll read it broadly, then I'll fine tune. And I do read for everybody. So whether you're working or a student or retired, we'll touch on all of those. But let's just look at everybody first. There's a pretty clear energy here, which is feeling a bit like an outsider, feeling that sort of competitive vibe, and then feeling just tired. I feel some of you are over it. And you want to, this, by the way, this is in possibilities, not an outcome. What you want to avoid is burnout, because 10 of Swords can be burnout. It can also be an argument. And sometimes we get to a point where it's like, if I don't leave now, then I'm going to say or do things that I regret. And it's very hard to take back this sort of energy once it's been spilled. Once the blood is spilled, it's spilled. So you're trying to leave without the bad blood. So I can see that. So some of you have a foot out the door, and I'm supporting that if you need to do that. For everybody else, I think it's really just a matter of reallocating and avoiding exhaustion. So as I said, you don't have to do the no pain, no gain thing. You don't have to make everybody happy or fit into everybody's clique. The main thing you want to focus on is embodying this energy of the 10 of Wands. You finish what you set out to finish. Conserve your energy. Focus on going to people, places, and opportunities where you are valued and you are seen and you are supported. And if you do that, more success awaits you. Anything worth doing can take some time, and it's usually worth the wait. And so be patient with yourself and be patient with the growth. And if you feel like you are in an environment where that patience doesn't exist, then seek out a place where that does. I think it's really important to focus on getting what you need this week and speaking up and saying, this is not enough. It's okay to say that. Just say, I would love to do this, but I need this instead. And show that you did your homework too. So if you do have like a contract negotiation, or if someone's trying to buy your house, but they're trying to lowball the offer or whatever, just say, this is market value. This is my neighbor's house. This is this house. This is what's here. This is the offer. I'm not going to go beyond this. This is last and final. if someone wants it enough, they'll take it. If you don't want to have too much of a deficit, then there are certain points where you kind of like, you'd rather have what you have versus less than enough. So this is just really a chance to speak up and not take less than enough. It's going to be different for each of you. I just used a simple example there. All right, now let's break it down for those that are working, those that might be seeking work or at the student level, and then those that are retired. All right, if you're currently working, all of what I just said factors in. I think one thing that we're seeing here could also be, let's see, with the Page of Pentacles in reverse, it could also be a desire to take on a different path. So this can be burnout. This can be a lack of interest. This can be this passion sort of thing that I talked about earlier. That's the other thing, is like, I'm interested in doing this instead, or I would like to go down this path. So it could be opening up something brand new, and that connects with the student energy that we see here. There's a learning curve associated with that, but there's also like a lot of fulfillment, not just money, but like personal fulfillment associated with that. Don't get caught up in the barbs and wires of these sort of interpersonal relationships. It's really important. I think this is a time to kind of keep to yourself, get the work done, and focus on the finish line. Okay. That being said, there may be a chance for some travel, and there's a chance to go back and do something that didn't work before. Second chance for sure. Resetting this, looking at those that are job seeking. It can be this sort of, it's a fatiguing sort of thing where it's like, I keep putting the energy in and I keep getting no's, and it hurts. Totally get it. I've been there. I've been unemployed before. I've been on unemployment insurance. I did it during a downturn in the economy, like right around 9/11. It was a bad time to be unemployed. And it took a few months. And I remember I had to stay with some relatives for a little bit, and it eats away at your ego. And then sometimes people don't know how to react around you because you're job seeking and not finding it, and they don't want to ask, but they want to ask. And it's like, I get it. So one thing that I finally just did was stopped focusing on feeling like I needed to talk to anybody, and just thought, what am I going to do? What do I want to do? And that's when I started to feel the sense of direction again. And I tried a completely different path. I've done that a few times in my career where I've decided to move. I moved to a different city, and I got a different job in a different industry. And so sometimes you have to repackage everything. So if it's not working, try something completely different, rather than, this is a cycle of pain, and there may be a better way. The universe might be trying to show you, not this. And you have a couple of nights, a couple of directions here. So it's just a matter of trying something outside of what's expected. And every time I've done that, it's usually paid off when I do something unusual. But I'm following instinct, so follow your instinct. That's one thing that I'm seeing here. It is important if you have an opening, like if you know someone at a place, the Three of Cups can get you in the door. Because sometimes people are exclusive and they just want to go with someone that's vetted out. And so one of my good jobs, I got through word of mouth and someone carrying my resume to the right person. I did another one through like just a cold application before it existed. Two of my best jobs. One I got, one I needed help with. So try it from all angles. You never know what's going to work here. But if you have an inside connection, this is a time to activate that. I think the other thing here is, again, not internalizing the rejection, not taking it personal and not putting it here. I've talked about this in the past, but sometimes when I've had interviews, multiple interviews, and they don't work, and you're like, why is it taking them so long? Sometimes it's just to protect you from not going into a job that, back in the day when all of this was happening, there was a lot of .com companies. I used to live in the Northern California. And so like every week someone was going out of business. So it was really hard, and there was like such a saturated pool. That's why I had to leave the Northern California area. But it also helped me realize I don't want to do this anymore. That's not fun. And then I kind of worked in entertainment stuff instead. So sometimes that lack of traction is a directional energy. And I just had to let go of what I was doing and know that I still had really strong skills that just had to be reapplied in a different area. So there's a chance to do that if you're willing and you're ready. Someone's lowballing you with an offer too, so negotiate, get pushed back a little bit. That's not great. Four of Pentacles is not great. Because I did see like too many, there wasn't enough. There wasn't enough. We don't want that. Take care of yourself. I mean, this is more about health, but I want to make sure that if someone says, are you ready to work nights, weekends, and on call? Are you ready to work nights, weekends, and on call? It looks like it could be a burnout. I would nowadays say, what are you doing wrong that requires me to do that? I wouldn't get the job. This is why I don't work in corporate work anymore. I would say, no, I'm not going to do that. I can do an occasional shift, but I'm not going to work every night and every weekend. And you can't always call me because you should have better balance. These should be special things. Unless that's just what you want to do, really make sure that you're into that, because I see a burnout path on some of these things. And to me, that's poor leadership. If you need me to work every night late, we're not working efficiently. You're not leading correctly. And I'm not going to get that job because I have no problem saying that now. Okay, anyway, so be mindful of this. I don't want you to get on a burnout path, all right? Let me see what else is going on here. I think that's pretty much it. Yes, you can find stuff, but redirection. That's the main thing that I'm seeing for some of you is repackaging, redirecting, possibly even relocating. These things can actually open up a lot of doors, and definitely talking to people that you know and calling in a favor if you need to. It's okay to do that from time to time. Think of how many times people come to you. It's okay to call in the favor. All right. For those that are retired, I think that this is a good time to be retired. And the main thing that you want to focus on right now is your own health and well-being. These two cards together can actually show like strength training. Some of you are kind of going in on like strength training or CrossFit or yoga or Pilates, and you're trying to like strengthen and lengthen. And, and I'm all for that. You might also be deciding to take maybe it's a volunteer job, or maybe you're helping others. You could be coaching them. You could be training them. You could be working in fitness. I like that a lot for you because it feels like this gives you a sense of, it's also helping you with your own solar plexus, your own power, etc. I think that another thing that you can do, some of you have been through it. This is healing your finances. So if you see someone who's going through a challenging situation, you could help coach them. It's not necessarily about loaning money. It's like helping them dust themselves off and try something different. Definitely getting a lot of mentorship energy coming through here. And I love this gardening stuff too. So some of you might decide to do something outside, reconnecting with all of that as well. I said I'd mention students too. I think the important thing here for you is to focus on something that really lights up your imagination. Not something that is going to just stress you out here. It's something that lights up your imagination and you could feel yourself like really being excited about doing for a while, because it's your career, it's your path, and that's something that I wanted to mention. Let's look at love and relationships. All right. For love and relationships, and we're going a little longer today, but it's okay. There was a lot to cover, so I hope you're enjoying. For love and relationships, we're going to start it off with the Oracle card, of course. We have the Phoenix rising from the ashes, but it's in reverse. The thing with this is it really doesn't matter. Like the Phoenix, it's about trusting that you can do this. And for some of you, maybe there's just been one too many times. So that's what I'm seeing here. Because a Phoenix can indefinitely, like there's no, it's what's the word? It's immortal, right? So it can keep rising up from the ashes. But if it's in reverse, it's sort of saying, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of the cycle of having to pick up all the pieces and start again. Totally get it. So let's read it from three perspectives here, starting off with those in a relationship. The biggest challenge could be arguments over money. 10 of Swords, arguing. 7 of Pentacles, money, resources, having enough. Could also be expecting more, and pointing fingers, because we have a very finger bony sort of 10 of Swords here. So it could be pointing the fingers. So let's try to avoid that if we can. Let's try to avoid the arguments. Arguments are healthy, but you have to have a way of having a constructive argument, not just pointing a finger. And I think that's the key thing with that one. And rather than arguing over money, try to sort of come to an agreement on what's going to work best for everybody. I also think that with the Strength card, there is a partner that maybe this fatigue is in, like having to call all the shots. Sometimes people, this can be like a nagging energy, but it may only come about because there's inaction or a lack of receptivity from the other partner. So my encouragement, if you find yourself in the role of the strength card, especially a reverse strength card, is just let it fall apart a little bit. Whatever it is it really the end of the world? If dinner doesn't get made, someone's stomach's going to grumble and you'll be like, all right, well, we're going to order in then, or you can eat on the way home or something. Like, if a bill doesn't get paid, it's more important. But if there's little small things, let it crumble a little bit and say, well, that's a mess now. And that's why I asked, So like, you don't have to do it all and you don't have to force them to do it. Sometimes leaving the mess there is better for a second, because then they might come to you and say, I'm sorry, I dropped the ball. And then you can say, okay, now we'll work through this. So it's not having to point the finger and say, didn't I ask you to do this? Because you know where that will go. This is a very small sect of some of you that are going through this, but that section, I needed to kind of talk about that. All right, if it's a healthy relationship, here's what I see. There could be just general fatigue in your body. Some of you are working way too much. And as a result, when we look at we have like it doesn't even add up correctly, 70-40, 70-30 is what it should be. But there's an overlap of some energy. And then there's also this feeling that one partner's carrying the load. There are times in a relationship where we do that. It's not always perfectly aligned. You're not always 50-50. You're going to teeter-tot between this and seesaw. But there should come a point where it all evens out. And if you feel like it's not, then this is a discussion and like, I need more of this, or can you help me with this, or why are you doing this? So there are some conversations about investing time and energy. Could also be expenditures of money. And I think overall, just general communication can improve in existing relationships. What's going right? Well, I think one thing here is there's still a desire for fun, for connection, but it's not happening as much. So making time for fun, I think, like I said earlier, this can be, you're putting it off, but when you actually do it, it's fun. So a date night, or saying yes to an invitation, going to your partner's party, like whether it's a work one or something else, I think that can help a little bit, because these are very work oriented. We need a little bit more cups in the mix here. And I think that will help you out. So have some fun, make some time for each other, try to balance out the investment of energy. And remember, you're not the parent to the partner, because this can get very parental. So let it go. Don't push. I think that'll be key. Taking a trip could be nice. Or, if that's something that you're looking forward to, or doing something that you've been talking about for a while, like actually bringing it into fruition would be nice. All right, those are the challenges. There are a few, but they're manageable. Avoiding pointing the finger is the number one thing, and avoiding sort of stepping into a boss role is also really important. If you're looking for love, can you find it? Yes. Three of Cups shows some exhaustion when it comes to finding someone. We have a Page of Pentacles here. There could be a really nice earth sign that's coming in that is interested, because pages are interested. And I think the main challenge for you is your schedule, because the Five of Wands is a lot of work. There could also be some financial constraints that make like going out harder. So there might be different types of activities that you could do that don't kind of like hit the pocketbook, because that was something that I really tuned into today, was financial stress in December. And I think just because December gets expensive, doesn't it? Like I mentioned, there's at least 3 major holidays. Sometimes there's birthdays, there's New Year's, and you have to go to all of these gatherings with like some food or a wine or a present or something like that. And it's like, okay. So maybe finding a different way to kind of like spend time with people that doesn't involve as much spending is key. That'll help you have some fun. But 8 of Cups, someone from the past. 3 of Cups reverse. You're more serious maybe than you have been, or they're more serious. So making sure that you're on the same page. Money and career could be the only trigger points, even in new relationships. So be cautious about that, especially over the holidays here. And this person could be from afar. They could be traveling from a different country, or coming through on business or something of that nature. Past life connection with the Phoenix. This is like judgment. And this is true for existing relationships too. That also is probably why the Ten of Swords comes through, because sometimes you don't know why you're so passionate, why you're fighting so much. It's because of old karma. And we have the 2 different opposing knights here showing the karmic relationship of the past. So one is a doer and a shower, like they show up and do what they're going to do. The other one feels a lot and expresses themselves differently. So we have a lot of sensitivity and then a really bold energy here. What's lacking maybe is again, direct communication, and they show things differently. This one really needs to hear it. They need to hear, I love you, or they need to hear what's going on, or they need to see it. And this one is just sort of like, hey, I've been here for you. I'm showing up. This is enough, isn't it? So definitely some communication challenges, even in new relationships, definitely in past ones. Okay. If you are single and happy, good for you. I think that in this period of time, personal healing comes through, but financial healing as well, knowing that don't beat yourself up over anything from the past. That's both of these cards are coming through for that. And I think right now is a chance to invest in yourself. This is going to help you really feel better self-worth, like there's more opportunities rolling in for you. And so that's what I'm picking up on here is personal healing and financial healing, and maybe going back to school and getting some training and doing something like that. That's where the energy wants to take you. But when it comes to relationships, I think realizing that you don't have to fit in everywhere is key. Okay, let's go to Destiny. For Destiny, we have Sacrifice. This was nicely connected to this. And I was talking about feeling like you had to show just how hard you're working, or all of that, kind of like that you're suffering, and we don't have to do that anymore. We're turning the page, we're turning the coin here, and this is a chance for you to release that sacrificial energy. You do not have to be a martyr, for instance, here, and it's a chance to rise above. So I'm going to program and focus on this final question really clearly, because abandonment and abundance were the two cards. So we'll do two cards for the big idea, and then we'll get into the meditation and then the final card. So abandonment. I want to do a different deck for this, so give me a second. Okay. Abandonment, abundance. They're all going to be pentacles. Okay. So for the abandonment, you've got this is basically what we have. Nine of Pentacles shows you that you were able to do it on your own. This is one of the most fiercely independent cards in the minor arcana. This woman is usually sitting around all these grapevine, or standing, and there's like this luxurious bird on her shoulder and all this. It's like luxury. But this came from hard work. So you worked hard to get where you're at, and because people maybe weren't always there supporting you, you've proven to yourself, again, of your own worth and your own strength. Thank you with the strength card and your ability here. So the abundance was a cosmic gift, maybe not the most fun, but maybe a really valuable one at that. So we did, interestingly enough, that was abandonment, but the abundance card is also showing you that, the Eight of Pentacles is a return on your investment. So whatever you're working on, specifically for those of you that are going to school, I mentioned that Eight of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles is connected to this. You're getting like a ding saying, yes, this is what you should focus on. We also see a beaver creating a dam. The dam can represent a block. This can represent an opportunity to move beyond that block of feeling like I can't, or I'm not worth it. So yes, you are. This is a chance to just release that block. And you don't have to do everything, because that dam also represents emotions that have been welling up. So finding a release will help you. But ultimately, we have two cards of value and worth. So the big idea this month is you can do it on your own, and the best is yet to come. All right. So let's take a moment and meditate together, and then we'll take a look at a final question. So did my best to cover all things. A little more complicated today, slightly longer. That's okay. If I missed anything, hold the question. Let's meditate together. Before I do that, quick like and subscribe, please, if you haven't already. Now let's get into the meditation. And we're going to call in this sense of community and abundance. Like I'm trying to turn it upside down. If we're feeling a lack of feeling like you're seen or loved, we're going to pull in a cosmic tribe that kind of sees you. So close your eyes if you will. Imagine that you are standing on a beach after a rainstorm. It smells wonderful. You can smell like ozone and petrichor and maybe even the salt air. This is beautiful smells that come through after the rain happens. And there's a beautiful rainbow reaching from the edge of the ocean all the way to where you are standing. And as you walk under the rainbow into each of the multicolored lights that we can even see in this illustration, you, for the first time in a long time, feel this sense of connection to all of the possibilities of the future. Maybe the past was difficult, maybe yesterday, maybe this morning was difficult, but in this moment, it's not there anymore. There's just space and a hope. And these are two powerful things. Now imagine as you start to connect with this rainbow of energy that you see other people walking toward you underneath that rainbow as well, much like the 10 of Cups. So you're creating your own 10 of Cups, calling in new friends, new partners, new opportunities, more wealth and abundance. And it's all other people who have done this work and can sit under the rainbow. This is your gift after all of the challenges and the struggles. So maybe you were left out in the cold and in the rain, but the rain is gone. The rainbow is here. The sun is shining. This is your journey now. And this is you creating and opening up a better tomorrow. All right, focus on breathing as I play the singing bowl. Hold your question and we'll be right back. Keep your eyes closed for a moment. I want you to program the next 3 breaths. If there's anything that you're still holding on to, it does not serve you anymore. Let's take a deep breath, send it out into the ocean, and let it take it all the way to the sun. We don't need that anymore. Deep breath, inhale. Focus on a ray of sunshine now, connecting to your heart space. Fill up that space that was there with something else, and now let the sun come through and heal it. And sitting under the rainbow, I want you to make a wish or set an intention, something that you want to see progress on this week. Set that intention, and then on the exhale, open your eyes. Welcome back, everybody. I'd like you now to focus on the final question that you have for me. Hold it in your mind for a moment. Let me shuffle the cards and let's see what Spirit has to say. Fantastic. Okay, so we have the Magician. The Magician is reversed. The Magician is still a very positive card. As we can see in this one, it's a card of manifestation and connectivity. As above, so below. We don't quite have the traditional illustration here. Usually we would see someone channeling source energy, bringing it into their own life, into their own body, into the physical world. See yourself as that conduit. Focus, don't get distracted. The one thing that I do like on this is we see all of these cards which can represent all these different things that we can focus on. Typically there's the 4 elements. So what is it you want to really use this week to help you get to the next level? Focus on that. Be clear in your intentions. That's why we set an intention, and know that you have the capacity to get further on that path. This is a week for healing. So, if there's anything that you need to attend to, whether it's something like a massage or chiropractic adjustment, acupuncture, a doctor's appointment, get in before the end of the year. It's good for your insurance for those in the United States, because typically we reset at the new year. But either way, thank God some countries don't have to deal with that. I'm jealous of Europe and their universal health care there. But good for those of you in the States that have to get the deductibles and all that stuff. Do it now. It's good for you. It's good for your budget. It's good for your body. So take care of yourself, heal yourself. You'll be glad that you did. It's also a good time for spiritual and creative ventures. As a yes or no, it's a yes, but you have to believe in yourself. So there's a caveat on that one. So I see a little bit of distraction, focus, and believe. Okay, that's everything for today. Thank you so much for being a part of this reading. Thanks to all those that have liked and subscribed. We're going to get into thanks in just a moment, but a quick reminder, you can also follow me on social media. That way, if you're not in front of YouTube or if the notifications don't go through, you'll still know when I post a new video. Thanks in advance. I'll be talking about all those who gave back today in just a moment. If you ever need to find more information about me, you can also go to my website. A reminder that I do not give any private readings and I don't message people on direct messages. So if someone is texting, messaging, WhatsApping, it's not me. Just block, report, let me know about it. And that's that. I want to end by saying thank you. Thanks to everybody for showing up today. I do appreciate your time and your sort of choice to just spend this, hour or so with me, a couple hours today almost. And I want to just give a quick shout out to those that gave back. So let me start off first with members. And then we'll move on to stickers, and then I'll see if there were any gifted ones. I didn't see it, but maybe there were. All right, so starting off with members that have joined, rejoined, or received a gifted membership. Today it's 2, so it'll be easy. Heidi and Tammy, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Let me take a look now at stickers. So anybody that gave back with a super sticker or super chat, here's what we've got today. Yoga Rising, Allison, Jeannie, and Monica. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. And let me take a quick glance to make sure that I didn't miss anybody here. So we have a member anniversary, My Little Margie. Thank you so much. Give me a second here to to look at fan funding, and I'll see some other ones. So let's see. I think that was it for today. I covered it all. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here. I love the community. I love the live streams. And I really appreciate everybody showing up. Thank you, Dakota, for your help with moderation. And I hope everybody has a fantastic week ahead. I will be here through the holidays. I'll keep you updated. There's going to be a couple of changes on dates here or there. But for the most part, I'll be here each and every day. All right? Take care of yourself. And in the meantime, wishing you all the best. Bye-bye.